Welcome back. All right, we talked about the West. We talked about the East. The one thing I left out was goaltenders because goaltenders, it's a whole different ballgame when you're talking about goaltenders, right? In terms of development, in terms of age, and all of this, it's different with goalies than it is with skaters, whether it's forwards or defensemen. So I wanted to talk about them on their own, and I've got them with a list of 10 in an order that I want to talk about them in. But yeah, there's 10 goaltenders right now who are rookies. I think we can discuss based on how much they've played. There are a few other goaltenders who've played who are not on the board who are rookies, but we're going to go with these 10, starting with Wall in Toronto. 8-5-1 record, 916 save percentage. It took him a while to get to the National Hockey League level. He's a number 62 pick for Toronto in 2016, the same draft that they picked up Austin Matthews. He's 25 years of age, so of the goalies on the board, he is the oldest. But sometimes that's how it works. It's not uncommon for a goaltender to really hit their stride in their mid 20s, become a starter when they're 26, 27. And that's why a lot of the time you'll see, like, goaltenders winding down their career, and people will say, but it doesn't feel like he's been in the league that long. Goaltender careers generally start later, which can lead to some short careers. But Wall at this point does look like he's going to be the starter for the Toronto Maple Leafs once he comes back from injury, of course. He'll likely be their starter for the rest of this season. We'll see how everything goes for Toronto from there. Really, with Wall, the thing is, if they succeed in the playoffs and he's the goalie of record, he's a hero in Toronto forever, and that's kind of what you're aiming for, right? Then we get to Caden Primo. Caden Primo, it feels like, it's been waiting a while. He's 4-3-0 this year, 902 save percentage. He's been part of this three-headed beast in Montreal's goaltending. He was a number 199 pick by the Montreal Canadiens in 2017. And it's taken him a while. And last year, honestly, I didn't think he looked like he was going to be a very good NHL goaltender. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, but this year he's broken through. He's 24 years of age, and he has shown that if they're going to get rid of a goaltender in Montreal, it has to be Jake Allen. They've re-signed Montembeault. They're not trading him. And Primo, I don't think you want to trade him when he's 24, and it looks like he's developed into that NHL goaltender who at the very least should be a good backup with some starting potential. So you're not going to deal him. We'll see where Allen ends up in the new year. A lot of talk about goaltenders and who's going to get traded and when, but it hasn't happened yet. So still keep my eyes open. Hofer in St. Louis. He's 6-5 with a 904 save percentage, really flying under the radar. He was a number 107 pick by the St. Louis Blues in 2018. He's 23 years of age. And yeah, he's earned his way into this role. The question becomes one of, is there starter potential there? And that's where it gets really difficult to answer. Goaltender in his early 20s, I do think that he's been good for them. I mean, Binnington's still the better of the two goaltenders. But I think it's close. I don't think the difference between Hofer and Binnington is quite the chasm that one might have expected to start the season. And I think that's a statement of how good Hofer's been. Again, flying under the radar in St. Louis, a team that I don't think gets as much attention based on the fact that coming into this season, not a lot was expected of them. Prosvetov, 4-3-1 for Colorado, 906 save percentage. Of course, they picked him up on waivers from the Coyotes. The Coyotes drafted him 114th overall back in 2018. So he's 24 years of age. Prosvetov's an interesting one because last year in Arizona he had his struggles, but you could see that there's still something there. That potential is there, and so now in Colorado it's up to them to find a way to help him realize this potential, especially since Francouz is not coming back, right? So Prosvetov's your backup goaltender from here. We know there's a shortage of goaltenders, enough of a shortage of goaltenders around the NHL that if Colorado waived him, he's not passing through waivers. So the idea of Colorado picking up another goaltender and letting Prosvetov play in the AHL, not going to happen. So, and again, at 24 years of age, give him a shot. Give him a shot. By the time they're 24, 25, give him a shot. And Prosvetov, he's going to get his chance to get some wins. And with Colorado, he's going to have a chance to see some success. So, yeah, we'll see how everything turns out there. Devin Levi in Buffalo. Boy, you want to get into a goaltender people have very differing opinions on. And that's the case with every goaltender. But Levi, they're really dramatic differences. 7-4-2 record, 892 save percentage. So his record's been good, but he has allowed some goals. And that 892 save percentage needs to improve. So does he spend the whole year at the NHL level? What are they going to do? Because, again, they're a team that has three goaltenders too, right? Florida picked him 212th overall in 2020 before they traded him to Buffalo. There's a lot of hype around Levi, and I understand it. I agree with it, actually. But he is only 21 years of age. So this is where I wanted to have the age on the board when they got drafted, because Levi is 4 years younger than Woll. So again, to compare the two, you could say, well, Woll's been the better goaltender. Yes, but he's also 4 years older. And for Levi, he's kind of been thrown to the wolves a little bit in Buffalo. Buffalo has not played very well, not consistently well. And so I don't really think Levi's numbers have been awful, considering the way the team's been playing in front of him. Kochetkov, up and down year for Kochetkov already. He is 7-7-3 with an 894 save percentage. That save percentage has gotten a lot better over the last couple of weeks. And it feels like Kochetkov's kind of got it figured out. He was a number 36 pick by the Canes in 2019. He is 24 years of age. So again, once they're 24, 25, give him a shot. If you still have a goaltender's 24, 25 and you're like, then maybe it's time to just say, we'll look in another direction. But yeah, Kochetkov's been very good recently, and it's made up for some of the rough numbers he was putting up earlier in the season. Of course, Ronta's been talked about, Anderson's been talked about, and there's been discussions about whether or not Carolina would pick up another goalie. But with the goaltending Kochetkov's giving them, there might be a little less concern with that, right? So we'll see. Ersson for Philadelphia, 8-4-2, 899 save percentage. He was a number 143 pick by the Flyers. In 2018, he's 24 years of age as well. I think Ersson's been good. In fact, I'll say I think he's capable of pushing for that starting job a little bit. Although Hart is an underrated goaltender, I think Ersson likely is as well. And the goaltending's been good in Philly. I know the 899 save percentage isn't fantastic, but I think Ersson's played well. And I think, didn't Ersson have like the worst numbers in the NHL through the first few games of the year? But yeah, Ersson's numbers lately have been good. He's a solid goaltender. Clearly, John Tortorella has some faith in him, and that says a lot right there. So Ersson should be the backup goaltender in Philadelphia going forward, which leaves the question of, so Cal Peterson's contract just runs out. Sandstrom is his NHL dream still hanging in the balance. What's going to happen there? But yeah, Ersson is the legit backup, and he's been good. Again, the 8-4-2 record is solid. Dostal in Anaheim, he's 6-8, 893 save percentage. In the event that they do trade John Gibson, Dostal may become the starter, depending on what they get back in that deal, right? Dostal's been good, and he's had some rough patches too. He was a number 85 pick in 2018, but he's 23 years of age. So for Anaheim, I think the vision is that Dostal is going to take over as the starting goaltender, I think, next season. So we'll see how it all goes for them from here. But clearly they're not in the playoff picture. Gibson was rumored to be wanting out during the summer. They never denied that he wanted out, just that he would definitely still play for Anaheim when the rumor was that he refused to play another game for the Ducks and he wanted to just go. But Dostal, he should be the beneficiary when Gibson makes that exit. And it has to be a win, right? I can't see Gibson still being with the Ducks next season. But yeah, Dostal, he's got a lot of potential. He's going to be a good starter. This year he's having his ups and downs. Wolf in Calgary, 1-2-1 record, 893 save percentage. Calgary's 214th pick in 2019. And I remember in that draft looking at Wolf's numbers and looking at Wolf's scouting report and talking about him. I did talk about him after that draft and said, the Flames might have got themselves a steal. You guys can go and find it. It's on the channel. He's 22 years of age, and I think Wolf has a ton of potential as a starter. I think he's going to force himself into that conversation for Calgary's starter's job by next October. So by October of 2024, I think we'll be having a discussion about whether or not Wolf should be, if not starter, if I'm way overextending with that, at least a 1A, 1B situation, probably with Markstrom. Again, with the rising cap and all the potential moves Calgary could make, who knows? Maybe you go with Vladar and Wolf next year. Just throwing that out there. But anyways, I know Markstrom's been playing really well for Calgary lately. It's just, I think Wolf's ready. At the AHL level, I don't think he has anything left to prove. And he hasn't looked bad at the NHL level either. And then there's Soderblom, 2-11-1 for Chicago, 870 save percentage. He was not drafted. He's 24 years of age. I felt bad for Soderblom. I don't think Chicago's got a very good defense. And I think that he's kind of been thrown to the wolves on multiple nights. And he's not on the Chicago Wolves. He's on the Chicago Blackhawks. So I do think that for Soderblom, he very likely projects as just a backup at the NHL level. I was kind of surprised that Stauber didn't get at least, a couple of looks here and there yet. But maybe we see Stauber before the season's over. The one question mark becomes, okay, so Mrazek's had a pretty good year with the goalie market being as hot as it is. If you're Chicago, do you at least entertain the idea of putting Mrazek out there and see what the offers might look like? Or do you say, you know what, Mrazek and Soderblom is our goaltending tandem the rest of the year? And I say that because in the event that they did move Mrazek, maybe it means more time for Soderblom in the net. I feel bad. That 870 save percentage, it's rough. I'm not saying he's played great, but that team in front of him has not been great either. I think Mrazek's numbers are remarkable for the amount of just high danger chances he seems to be facing all the time from right in front of the net. And so Mrazek's numbers, I think, have been pretty good. Soderblom, it's been a little more of a trial, but again, he's only 24 years of age. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How many of these 10 goaltenders do you think are going to be a starter in the NHL? How many of them do you think are going to be backups? And how many will we look back on 5 years from now and say, he was a good goalie, ended up going to Europe, didn't end up making it at the NHL level? There are always goaltenders that happens with. No shame in that. You have 32 teams in the league, meaning you have a starter, you have a backup. I know there's teams carrying 3 goaltenders, but essentially you have 64 jobs that goalies are competing for. And considering the number of goaltenders worldwide, only 64 in the NHL, that's some pretty elite company. So it's part of the reason I don't really slam goaltenders very much on the channel, if at all. I try not to. There are times where I'll say, that was a goal he should have gotten back. Or, he's had a tough time. But I will mention that the defense in front of him didn't help, or, they just need to get a bit of a break. So let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.